Hello, David.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Let's just get on the road here with a short introduction. Generally, we have everybody introduce themselves very briefly. We have a lot of new faces, so it will be interesting to start with the new people. Why don't we have you start with this, David? And please,
Sure.
no 10-minute presentations. Thank you.
I'll be quick. David Nothman, coming in from the Bay Area. I've been in agriculture over 20 years. My most recent role was as COO for Unfold, which was a company focused on seeds for vertical farms. That was sold to Bayer, and so I'm doing some consulting and board work right now and looking for my next role. But really appreciate being on here and apologize in advance. The morning hour has caused me to shepherd some kids during this, so I'll switch to audio only in a little bit. Glad to be here.
Thanks for joining. How about you, Eric, coming in from the Netherlands?
Yeah, my name is Erik Poot. I work for Delphi Improvement Center. I started here April 1st, and before that I worked for more than 25 years for Wageningen University.
Thank you. Supporting Wageningen beyond being in Wageningen.
Yeah.
That's correct. And then I see there's Samreen calling in from Rwanda, I imagine, right? Samreen, can you hear us?
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon, everyone. I do apologize. I'm in a place where there might be some background noise. So I'm Samreen Mohammed. I'm the founder of TechRow. We are all about data and AI and trying to bring CEA to East Africa. So yeah, I'm representing CEA from East Africa. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks for joining. Kurt.
Hello, my name is Kurt Cornelissen. I'm the head of sales at Hortiplan. Hortiplan is designer and builder of hydroponic growing systems for leafy greens. And before joining Hortiplan in 2009, I was mainly working within applied research for vegetable production.
Beautiful. You're in a car somewhere in Belgium, I imagine, or where are you driving?
I'm in a car, indeed, somewhere in Belgium.
Okay, good. Then we have Steven Beckers, who is also here in Belgium.
Yes, hello from Brussels. My name is Steven Beckers. I'm an architect. I was the founder of Building Integrated Greenhouse Big Farm, which Thomas worked with me on. And I'm now circularity expert with BoPro project management and development of projects, including futuristic agriculture in Belgium and in France. And by the way, Big now is part of Veolia.
So the future is now. Huh? I'm very glad to have you here, Steven. Thank you very much. We have also Tinia here from New York City.
Hey, nice to meet you. My name is Tania Pina. I'm the founder and CEO of Renewable. Renewable basically takes renewable resources and turns them into better alternatives that are cost effective for fertilizers and grow media for CEA. Thanks for having us here.
Super. Thank you for joining. Then I see there is Dennis Lowy from Priva. You're in your office or in your home?
No, I'm in the home. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Dennis Lauwe, Program Manager Indoor Growing Vertical Farming at Priva, what Thomas already mentioned. And
Thanks.
I see some familiar faces. Thank you.
Yes, we have some new ones and some familiar ones.
Yeah.
How about Christine? Just returned from her wonderful vacation. Where did you go?
I traveled to the Baltic states, but now I'm back in the Stuttgart area in southern Germany. And I'm with Festo, an automation family business, and we are strong in industrial automation, but are very interested and in the Netherlands already present in indoor agriculture.
Thanks for joining. Super stoked that you're taking part here. And then I'll see there is also Ron Mitchell, got up early, also in California.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
I'm on a new computer. I'm hoping this is all working correctly. Well, my name is Ron Mitchell. I know some of you, and it's nice to meet the rest of you. I've been in vertical farming for over 40 years. I started in Hawaii and ended up in California, and then I've had many businesses involved with other business on startups and all that. So I really like the this forum, and I'm currently was with the Clayco, the director of CEA. I'm no longer with them. I'm now a consultant, and I work with FTS on the board, and it's a great group. Look forward to having these conversations.
Thanks. You're the chairperson of our executive board, and I'm very glad you're with us. Then I see Stefania is here. Are you still in Italy, or are you back in the Netherlands?
Thank you very much.
Stefania, you really have a very special pop filter and a very broken audio system. Maybe you turn off the video. Can hear you, but still is extremely bad audio. Maybe dial in with your phone. I see we have a Carlos here. It's Vertical Future, is that correct?
Sorry, yes. Hi everyone. It's Carlos Flores here from Southeast London, currently Vertical Future. We are a technology manufacturer, vertical farm in London.
Super nice. First time here. Welcome. Hopefully we'll make this a consistent participation. And I see Tia has joined. Make a quick intro.
Hi, I'm Tia. I'm currently located in Berlin, Germany, and I'm a freelance consultant. I've done heaps of market research, anything in the indoor and food tech space, and helping companies kind of as a business development arm in food and ag tech. And also my first time here, so thanks. I'm curious.
Thank you. You also the founder of Women in CEA, yeah? You forgot to mention that.
Yes, that's true. I'm also, obviously everyone has their own network nowadays. So we also have a female network for women in controlled environment agriculture, where we host events and yeah, similar like here, networking opportunities.
Great. Then I see Maren Skormans is here. Hello, Maren.
Hey, Tom. Good to be back. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm a horticulture guy, helping companies change and move forward. I did that for some of the companies who are and were members of FTS. And I'm in between jobs right now, active as a consultant part-time. And I felt like joining FTS once more for a nice conversation with you guys. So glad to be here.
Super glad to have you here. Thank you so much. And then there's somebody new here, Grant McDonald.
Yes,
Vertical
hi,
Future.
good afternoon.
Yes.
Everybody, nice to meet you all. Similar to Carlos, who's my colleague, we're UK-based vertical farming tech company.
Great, thank you. I see also Alice Janssen is here.
Yes, I am.
Welcome.
Hey,
So glad to have you.
Yes, well, good to be, well, I would almost say be back because I'm not always able to join, but today I am. So looking forward to the topic. I'm Alice Janssen, responsible for the vertical farming business within Signify, Philips, Horticulture-led Solutions. So I'm probably joined today by my colleague, Sjoerd.
Yes, he was already part of it earlier from calling in from his car. Then I see there is Rick. I would imagine it's Rick Schneiders.
And that's right, Tom. So I don't turn on my camera because I also have probably the same issues as Stefania. Siemens is really not collaborative with Zoom or with Google Meet. So that's I already tried to install my camera, but it does not work. But yeah, indeed, my name is Rick, heading the future food team within Siemens headquarters, living in the Netherlands, but have a global focus on future food, meaning indoor farming, alternative proteins, and aquaculture.
Super stoked you can take the time here. And then I see John. Is this John Parrott?
It is.
Wow, John, welcome.
It's better. Thanks for the invitation.
We cannot understand it. Sorry, there's probably the same issue with Zoom. I don't know if it helps if you switch to the phone. Stefania is back. Maybe Stefania can try again. Hello? No? Okay. Maybe Rick, you can make a quick intro for John and Stefania.
Yeah, of course I can do. Well, Stefania is in my team, driving business development for agriculture, indoor farming. And John is heading the whole food and beverage market in the US.
Super stoked to have such a strong participation from Siemens. I'm sorry about the Zoom issue. We just switched from Google Meet to Zoom, hoping that it will get better. What is going on with the Silicon Valley technology companies is not favorable to all the little ecosystem providers. I see Eva Helen is dialed in. Eva, maybe you can explain why Silicon Valley has a problem with each other.
Well, it's funny you should ask. I literally live 10 minutes just up the road from Silicon Valley. And when we moved to this house, it took us 6 months to get internet access. So there you have it. It's a little complicated out here. So Eva Helle, I'm an executive director at Terralogics, and we are in the process of building out projects, including greenhouses, clean and renewable energy, and green infrastructure for logistics, like cold storage for data centers. So at a site selection phase right now.
Oh, nice. So happy to see you, and thanks. Likewise, again. Thank we were lucky to have you at GreenTech, giving some very nice keynotes and moderation. And then finally, I want to bring the word to, did I forget somebody? Somebody else there? Tia, Kurt, Eric. Yeah, I think everybody. But Tiffany is here. She is on the team with the Student Challenge from Wageningen, and Rio is going to join us in about 15 minutes. But Tiffany, make an intro and talk to us a little bit about why you joined that initiative and what is, what the trajectory was in the past.
Tom, and nice to meet everybody. My name is Tiffany Tsui. I'm a strategist, data scientist, consultant. Built my career as internationally, especially in the area of a circular economy and green transition. Actually, a big part of my career was on China. So working from Europe with European companies, American companies, and with Chinese developed, especially during the big boom of China, urban expansion. I worked a lot on green buildings, eco-cities as a strategist, master planner. So a lot of my background is in working with the universities, government, and commercial developers to together kind of a holistic approach for building business case for green projects in the built environment. So I started to focus on horticulture, and now actually, let's say, the bigger agro-food world since 10 years, coming from the eco-city perspective. So I looked at the basically food production and waste as a integral part of that sustainable urban development or regional development approach. I now am owner of Springtime Strategy, which is a advisory company specialized in strategic research, project management in the area of digital transformation, agri-food. Before that, I was director at Royal Haskoning DHV, which is the #2 biggest engineering consultancy firm in Netherlands, with basically involving all the aspects in the built environment, from airport to waterways to city build projects. So a bit broader perspective here. I'm also co-owner, you can see the logo back, the Vertical Farm Institute, which is a design architecture research company based in Vienna. I got involved with the student challenge with Wageningen actually since 5 years. That's exactly during the COVID period, which is quite a memorable period, because it's for me very nice to see that the challenge series has been developing, enriching, growing in the last 5 years, really starting from kind of a smaller range of topic on basically to stimulate students as additional extracurriculum challenge to think especially holistically. So the year when I was involved was actually officially the 2nd year of challenge, and the theme was the project was based in China, so that's the one reason I was asked to be as the chair of the expert committee. But later on the road, actually, I got much more involved in the overall programming because it was such a nice approach. Exactly because this challenge is different from maybe maybe other kind of hackathon type of project in that it's very interdisciplinary and it's very open. So it means that in my year we had actually 50 teams from 70 countries, or cannot be, but the team were kind of across the team. So it's got a lot of attention. And then also because when it started, COVID started, so the teams were planning to go to China, they could never do that. But because of the difficulty that the teams actually, many of them cannot even meet each other, because even if they are in the same country or in Brazil or in China, they cannot even go to school. So you saw that then a lot of them said that was the only thing that kept a hope for them. So for young people at that moment, I think was to us, it's really quite dark period to talk about the addressing innovation at the same time you're facing this kind of huge uncertainty. So that year for me personally was really impressive because the student put in so much effort, and then really to show the beauty of interdisciplinary working means that it's never easy. That's the kind of project I'm always leading in China, is that you work interdisciplinary, meaning that you need to work with, in my team, that is economist, landscape architect, water hydraulic engineers, and also cross different cultures, so the Dutch perspective and the Chinese perspective. And so I'm basically the red line to bridge discipline and cultures. And then what I see is that it's really not easy approach. And it would be a lot easier to have a project that's kind of a cookie cutter in a way, where you define the scope and you just follow an approach. But you can get a good result from a kind of a streamlined process, but not the most, if you want a spectacular result, really innovation, you need to challenge people to go out of their comfort zone. So that's for me very exciting to involve, which is why I think it's really important and relevant for business to participate, not just because, you become partners, you support the student, but actually maybe the real benefit, if you really get involved, are at the other way around, because in our today's world, especially also in agri-food, when we talk about horticulture or vertical farming, you can not talk about the topics that we need to address as in your own box. So horticulture cannot talk about horticulture separate from agriculture, for example, and the vertical farming should not discuss separate from horticulture. That's what I think. So in that sense, I think that important for companies, innovators to actually to look at how young people think cross-disciplinary, not bounded by perceptions or old baggage, let's say, in a way, or reality too much, but to think about how do you foster innovation, truly think about, for example, outside your own box, look at the complete value chain, and then look at business cases that actually ideas that sprung up out of unexpected places. So that's in a nutshell why I was involved since 5 years. So what I'm really happy to see that later when Rio joins, I think she can tell more about this year's theme. And in the last 5 years, we saw that already more than 4,000 students from all around the world are participating of different themes. And then the challenge series is really starting to be connecting to a wider innovation ecosystem, so that we see that we are really contributing to speeding up innovations from idea to commercial, basically getting funded. So we have already last 2 years examples from student competition that the winners got, for example, round A, Series A funding in a short 2-3 years, which is really impressive. That means that within today's technology and also urgency, the problems we're facing, we really need all the, as a part of the ecosystem, innovation ecosystem, that need to work together to bring ideas, not just as just idea, but then also help business to speed up innovation, and also bring up help startup to come to the marketplace sooner.
I mean, this is of course, everybody agrees in principle or in theory, a great proposition. But, as we've seen how, particularly our mini sector in agri-tech has gone through different cycles. Also, since the pandemic, quite a lot of other things have happened. And now also companies are forced by, let's say, changing of the energy equation, changing of market situation, and also the drying up of low threshold VC money, that this whole equation is becoming, less of a success story and more of a challenge, right? But, what do you think is really the actual benefit for business? Because, essentially, as you said, thinking outside the box, being adaptive to fast-tracking innovation. I mean, this is obviously something that everybody here in this meeting probably understands quite well. But how can you do it when your company has actually a downturn, which is quite, something that we're getting used to it, that we have these fluctuations. And of course, now also this international exchange between Asia and Europe and North America. I mean, these are all becoming much more charged with geopolitical, politics, basically. How do you think that this new challenge, particularly the one we are looking at for the, let's say, space technology influencing, things on the world?
Yeah, I think that I also like to maybe wait for Rio to join in when we can explain also the concept, or can go in deeper in answering more questions. But in general, I also think that to have, the innovation happens in different ways. That you can also have a business meeting, really talk about the collaboration, or you have having joint initiatives where companies and then to build up also trust. So it's a long process. That's why I also would emphasize the track record. I think that's if you want to have innovation, a relationship to trust to work, it never happens in one day. So I would also now say, like, this particular challenge is one challenge. You're gonna bring the next biggest innovation in space tech inspired agriculture innovation. So that's I think it's important that the innovation, it's also a it takes time to, out of maybe 100 projects, one came out. That's also that if you especially work with young people, in reality, it just even venture capitalists probably about the same number. But then I think that in general, I think for business, maybe the business here can answer better, is that actually during the down moment is the moment you should start planting more seed, right? Then when to prepare when the good times is back again, which it will come back. I think for our sector, it's just a matter of time that it's the cycle will come back again. That you're ready to invest in good ideas. So I think this type of collaboration is actually a very low cost, low entrance barrier into building the ecosystem together, and then to get in touch with innovation companies, existing companies, and also universities to as a kind of a long with a long-term view on how do you innovate.
Yeah, super interesting. I mean, so you think the fostering also of internal discussion in companies can be already a really big benefit from an exposure to a challenge like this, huh? Or being part of the expert panel, or even like just following the trajectory of the ideas, what they come. I mean, can you remember also outstanding projects which never went anywhere but should have gone anywhere? Because, you know, years later, sometimes people pick up an idea and then translate it into a real tangible business success.
Yeah, that's also that. I think for the last 5 years, the beginning first ones, we saw that actually we have a number of the winners, all the good concepts. What we also see that it's a good place to let the talent to bubble up. It's also that not necessarily that. So when I was, for example, as a jury, when I look at the submit the concept, it's not so much whether that particular concept it's per se the let's say the most comprehensive, but it's really important to show that how a team coming from diverse background, that they can really bring that knowledge together, not as it's really a lot of time, many times it can be just as against you, that when you have too many things to consider. But the brilliant teams, the really good teams, also especially that when I emphasize the talent. So the people who are able to work within chaos, to dissect the different, even conflicting information with also cultural, disciplinary differences, but really can bring that together into a comprehensive story. So there's also storytelling important in our world, is to how do you tell a story that is convincing and that is coherent, that represent a cross overall thinking. So what we see is the winners of the last challenge is not just necessarily the concept, but definitely the team that won, the top ones, all went into very great direction. Some started their own consultancy already, so applying their concept. Some went into startups already at a very young age, taking up key roles. So I think the talent aspect is definitely a really good reason for companies to get involved with young people early on during especially I think for many of us working in this field of innovation, we need to actually be looking for people who are able to work independently and and be able to also across different departments and disciplines.
Yes, for people who just joined, we're into the first kickoff session again for a series of FarmTech Society knowledge exchange meetings, which has been a very popular feature for our little ecosystem for the past 5 years. And today we're going to look at the student challenge, the new student challenge program by Wageningen University. Rio is going to join hopefully shortly to make a more in-depth presentation. She has been working with Tiffany on this for the last 5 years. And I would encourage you to stick around in the group. we created this LinkedIn group also to harmonize the different types of communication, and I want to primarily make it possible for people in the group to connect with each other easier, as well as also propose ideas and keep on the discussion going. We will try to implement on our website a more interactive platform where we can actually do a more ongoing exchange beyond just the online meeting, which is going to be held every first Wednesday of each month. The dates are predetermined, so if you have it marked in your calendar, then I'll make sure that you get the invitation, and it's also always available in the LinkedIn group. So coming back to the question also how successful that whole idea of young students or young people in general propose innovation to the business community. I know that Will is here from the World Horti Center, and you guys have also done great work with Horti Heroes, which is also an initiative. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that and how that would also complement the business community in some ways, because I don't think there's a big competition. Young people are very eager to really come to meet business of today and also discuss the future ideas. What is your maybe you make a short intro also for people who don't know who you are and what the World Horti Center is.
Hi, to all of you. Yeah, my name is Will Zuiderwijk, and I'm working for the World Horti Center since 3 years now. Can anybody hear me?
We hear you well.
Yeah? Right.
Yes.
And my future jobs were mainly in the floricultural sector. So I did a lot of jobs in account management and product management in cut flowers. And since 3 years, I'm responsible in the World Horti Center as an account manager. So I do have the contact with all of our 120 approximately participants. And yes, we have the Horti Heroes Club in our World Horti Center, although I'm not really, I do know some things about the Horti Heroes, but I'm not really an expert on that point. But also good to know, I'm also involved in our team pavilion, which is called iGrow, and in which we have 15 participants participating on the team of iGrow, which is about CEA and also for sure vertical farming. And since a few months, I'm a little bit more into the program of iGrow together with my colleague Mario Nederpelt. And that's basically who I am. And what is that you want to know, Thomas, about Horti Heroes specifically? Because I don't think I can answer all your questions, but maybe a little bit in general.
Yeah, I mean, the Netherlands is, of course, an epicenter of all things around horticulture. And of course, Wageningen is, of course, a leading university, and the Student Challenge is, of course, an established method of trying to translate these, out-of-the-box thinking of academic, let's say, work into more business-related world. And what is the difference, to Horti Hero? Horti Hero is purely a Netherlands-based organization, which is also trying to draw people into the horticulture sector. Is that what it is?
That's
okay.
what it is.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
go ahead.
Horti Heroes, they do have some programs, but mainly it's based on enhance talents out of the sector and also inside the sector, but also out of the sector to get into our sector. And they do that via certain programs. And maybe a nice example for what they will do soon is that you will be a CEO for 1 day. So they try to exchange students to enter our sector as a CEO. Last year at World Horti Center, we had a student. She was filling up the job of Puck van Holstein, and that was
serious?
really, yeah, that's really serious.
Who's
And that
the
was,
director? Huh? Yes.
yeah, and that was really a nice example of somebody who was not working in our sector, and she in one day we took her really good in what we are doing, and she was really enthusiastic. Although I'm not sure if she will enter our sector to work in, but yeah, it's a very nice example of one of the several things that Horti Heroes does.
Very interesting, very interesting. So if there are companies in our network who would like to get somebody eager to learn more about the sector, and they could actually contact Horti Heroes and see some candidates and then find a match to do this.
Yeah.
And this is this for a fixed amount of period, or could it be also short term, or could it be how does is it wide open?
They have several programs. You can all find it on the website. Horti Heroes. But the example of CEO for one day, that's a yearly coming thing. So every year, Horti Heroes has it in its program. Yeah.
This is super interesting.
Yeah.
I want to apply for that too. Is there an age restriction?
No, it's not.
Somebody wants to take your seat for a day.
Yes. Okay. Tiffany, I don't know where our Rio is. Have you heard anything? You're muted.
If I can also share screen and maybe just give introduction, and if Rio can join, then we can go into a discussion.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
I have to share screen. I have to enable me to do that.
Oh, okay. That's right. Where do I do this? I mean, I can share the screen. It's the Rethink PowerPoint, right? Or
yeah. Do you have the PowerPoint?
Yeah. She sent it to me.
Then you can open up this YouTube video as a kind of a link.
Well, maybe I should just make you a co-host. Now, where do I do this here? Participants. Let me see. You're all the way on the bottom, I think, right? Where are you? Here we are.
So raise my hand as well.
Yeah, here it is. So now you should be able to do it. Sorry about this.
No problem. Okay, I can do that. Right, so let's start with yeah, you're seeing the full screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. Be recording. Okay. All right. Can you hear the sound?
Nope, no sound.
No sound?
No.
I don't know how do I do that.
Is it important?
No. Well.
Maybe you need to do the voiceover.
Building microphone. I like the speaker. Computer. Oh, I can. Without it, then I just talk through it. This is you hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this year's theme is to focus on I mean, shut down the video because it's this stuff. I cannot hear myself. Well, this year's theme is 2 tracks. So you already saw some insects and the drawing. So it's the indoor farming track and then the alternative protein track. the idea is to look at the innovations or inspirations from space farming to inspire young people to come up with ideas. And so this is actually the information has now distributed to all universities. Officially, we are starting to recruit students. They can apply already. So this is will be the video they are watching to get excited, to look at the let's say the farming as a very future oriented share. Open up the PowerPoint.
We can see it.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Full screen. So, right, as I explained, that this year's challenge is the fifth in this already trajectory 5 years series, and then the theme is called Rethink. Last 2 years we had the Rethink Protein and Rethink Waste. And so this year's is to rethink food, and the reason also because what we see that the going to space is now becoming more and more of a reality. I think for the greenhouse sector or the vertical farming, indoor farming sector, it's not too distant a dream to think about putting facilities on Mars to grow for the first settlement. So there's a lot of parallels actually between space farming with Earth in a way that to think about actually, of course, to grow in Mars, you have to really think about circularity. And that's of course a theme on Earth we do work on. But on the other hand, we always have this issue of where do you define the boundary of a system? Because on the Earth we are blessed with good environment, and that you have a lot of sink for waste. Food can be produced everywhere. So actually on Earth we are in that sense really we forget how things can be, or it can for maybe future generations not so easy. So with the space mindset, we want to have really focus on food production based on very much limited resources, where you have to really think about circularity and really think about that need to be viable also as long-term economically and also financially, environmentally. So that's the reason to choose the space theme. As I mentioned, that since the beginning, that this series challenge really want to stimulate the most entrepreneurial and creative student. So it's not the easiest challenge because they have to come up with their own ideas. They also have to work interdisciplinarily. So the students who tend to join tend to be the most creative and most entrepreneurial. So they take on this challenge outside of the regular class, and they also like to work on international level. So the theme is that we want to overall want to help and to contribute to the transition to agri-food system, because the challenge we are facing is too big. The changes need to happen a lot sooner on many fronts. So we want to have young people to attract them also into the agri-food sector and make it also attractive. It's about the technology, it's about innovation, it's about the groundbreaking ideas. And also that we have the academic support from Wageningen on ongoing research for space farming on Moon and Mars. So then the two challenge tracks, actually they can coincide, but then for the challenge that they are separate into two tracks. So the indoor farming track, so that that's the growing of growing systems, and then the alternative protein track. Both are actually very relevant to the novel farming technology sector. Yeah, so also the challenge, as I mentioned, is open innovation. So there is no theme. There's a theme. Sorry, there's no fixed question. And then the students need to come up with their own idea. They need to develop into a complete concept, and then they, based on the advice and guidance from the partners. That's why we are also trying our best to get the most innovative and leading companies to be the partners to together define the questions, and then to really tap into that innovative energy. And then also it's for students worldwide, whether they are in undergraduate, master, PhD, or even early startup, they can all join. So they also are not limited to universities with affiliate or with the partnership agreement with Wageningen. So that makes this really very open. Everybody with idea can join. That also means it's a little more complicated to organize. So that we really need to make this challenge, the whole process, as a co-creation process with the partners. So. And then some of so what are the technologies we are thinking of? So that basically many are really inspired on technology in extreme conditions. So on Earth, we can think about, of course, desert situations, very hot climate, or especially to look at the efficiency, circularity, and maximize resource utilization. That's really the central theme, to really work on circular economic business models.
Tiffany?
Yeah.
Oh, there's Rio.
Good. Yeah, so I have to start before you. I think you can take over. Maybe you can give an introduction, and then you can continue from here.
No, that's fine. You're doing fine. It's just that I don't see the slides change. I see the first slide. I was wondering if it's my screen or that everybody is only seeing the first slide.
No, it has changed. It has changed.
Then
Yes,
it's something with my settings.
Yeah,
probably.
I'm on the page of Rethink Food Challenge, or the protein track now.
Yeah,
yes.
No, I can follow the storyline, but I was
looking
at the first slide. Sorry for the interruption.
The first slide as well.
Sorry?
I am seeing the first slide only as well.
Oh, okay. So because I don't have the PowerPoint version, I don't know if Rio, you can show from your computer if you are maybe.
Yeah, I can try.
But then Thomas, you need to give Rio the co-host also.
Yeah. I'll do that right now.
And apologies for not being able to join earlier.
Yeah, Rio, why don't you make a kind of a presentation of yourself and why we're doing this and so forth.
Yeah. First of all, Tom, thank you so much for having us. Tiffany, of course, is already part of the FarmTech Society. I'm an outsider, but I'm happy to connect. My name is Rio. I work for Wageningen University and Research, and with my team, we organize annual student challenges to build a pool of talented young professionals that are able to come up with solutions and drive innovation that will contribute to a more sustainable world, basically. Tiffany already started with introducing our upcoming challenge. I've worked together with Tiffany a lot over the past years, and we're doing this together. So I'm gonna see if I am able to share my screen then, because I have a lot of things open and I'm not using Zoom so often. I think.
Yeah, we're seeing your screen now.
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
Okay, you're seeing the first slide now?
Yes.
Okay, then I flipped through to where I think Tiffany, I interrupted Tiffany. I think that was around this slide.
I went to the protein focus, yeah.
Okay,
So the other track in the challenge we call the indoor farming track. That's around controlled environmental agriculture, can be a greenhouse, but also vertical farming, for example. And what we expect with the inspiration from the research on space farming is that students will work on things related to crop productivity, obviously resource recycling, and also lighting and environmental control. And as Tiffany already indicated, this will probably not cover all the ideas that students will work on, because it's up to them what they choose, as long as it falls within the main topics.
I don't see that the slides are changing. Is anybody else has the same problem?
Yes, it doesn't. It's slide number 5 we see now.
I have, what I see is the timeline now. No? That's so annoying. I really don't know what. The only thing I can think of, well, I mean, I can also continue just verbally, but then I'll stop sharing here, because I think it costs too much time to just go into all the looking into why we can't see the slides change. So basically the timeline of the challenge is from beginning of January until May. There's a preparatory track where we inspire students that don't have a topic yet but do like to participate, and partners can also bring in the challenges that they face in their sector or in their company. And students then are free to take that topic on or choose something else. Then we have 3 rounds. In the first round, basically any team that wants to compete joins, and we have several workshops where we help them to get started. We have some experts to inspire them and support them. And then at the end of the first round, they have to submit their first business idea. We have a selection committee that is assessing that, and then the best, depending on how many teams we have, the best 20 to 30 teams will move on to the second round. And that is actually the round where our partners play a bigger role in providing feedback, answering questions, etc. At the end of the second round, the best 10 are chosen, and those are also the finalists. And the finals take place in Wageningen. So we provide a bit of budget to those teams that are not in the Netherlands and travel to Wageningen for the finals, and we host them here for 2 days. And then for those teams that made it to the finals and want to continue, we try to help them by connecting them to our own incubator program, or sometimes to partners that are interested to support them on further developing their innovation. And we also have a network of incubators in other universities that we can refer them to. Some of the students also end up working for some of our partners or do their internship there. So it's really also a good way for talent scouting, actually, because as Tiffany already mentioned, these are really the most passionate, smartest, most creative students that join, because it's on top of their regular study program. What else?
So Rio,
Yeah.
and the question was also, you know, obviously our network has a lot of, you know, small to medium-sized businesses who are in some shape or form in either technology or also in innovation. But
yeah,
what would be a really tangible benefit for somebody who's never been engaged in this to join this? I mean, you know, again, it's also not a good economic climate for many companies. They're actually reducing exposure, cost, travel, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
it's, of course, you know, this kinds of ideas are always easily chopped off the block when there's not enough marketing euros around. However, I mean, our sector is driving of innovation, and it is obviously space age technology is also a question where farmers do see the value in this, because they see, like, you know, I'm having real earthy problems and not space problems, although I think climate change is proving otherwise. And you know, in the history of space technology, we can always say that, for instance, the innovation around microwave was actually started in the Apollo program, because they couldn't figure out how to cook the food for astronauts. And today a microwave is part of every kitchen in most of the industrialized world. So, I mean, it's a multi-layered question, but, you know, this will be interesting to debate also with our participants in the call. What would be the real benefit for somebody to jump in for the first time?
Well, I think one of the benefits is the inspiration that comes from the students and the interaction also between partners. So we're really connecting and building a community around the need for a more sustainable food production. So that means that we have sessions where you can interact directly with the students that work on something that you find really interesting. So it's also an option, to continue working with some of these students that are often at the end of their study program, working out more of what they initiated during the challenge. And there's also, of course, the interaction with the scientific side through the colleagues that we engage. And I think also, well, especially maybe for smaller enterprises, as I said, these are bright and dedicated students. They might be interesting to have as interns, for example, to get specific things done. So I think it's mostly like the community around working towards a more sustainable food system and food production system, as well as the concrete ideas and inspiration that comes from the teams that participate in this challenge.
Yeah, go ahead, Tiffany.
I have a comment. Actually, indeed, as Tom, you just mentioned, this is a knowledge sharing meeting. So on the one hand, we are pitching to get interest from company, but on the other hand, I think it is really a valid point, and we would like to, I think, we would like to hear from also your some ideas being in the sector, in the innovation area. Also, see David already commented, you've been working on this area, stimulating interaction between student and company for 30 years. And indeed, that there's always the issue of immediate problems, the marketing dollars, the downturn in the economy, overall situation. So same time, I think we all know that the innovation also, you need to work together for, especially this kind of platform is kind of pre-competitive. It has really the kind of very large entrance to really great ideas. So apart from maybe your own company joining with partner or not, but just to think, how do we, one thing I think is question for, I discussed a lot with Rio, is how do we ensure continuity for this type of theme? Because every year we have a lot of ideas. We see some of the ideas do go on. And then we want to also continue this to further always build on another year. So maybe some of your comments, ideas, how do we also really maximize the impact of such a platform to engage business better, to help facilitate innovation faster, and to have more of a, let's say, really a nurturing this kind of mutually beneficial process between company and students, if you have comments.
Yeah, I want to open up the floor, of course, but for me, it's obviously also about scale and timeline. I mean, it's very hard to get quick return on time spent on this. That's not going to happen. Anybody who's always expecting this will be disappointed. But it is obviously a proven method of really translating actual innovation into more mainstream. Innovation in itself means like what others don't know, and so you can also make that innovation more approachable in terms of a business model by actually pursuing this strategic goal of actually seemingly to discuss internally, but also in an ecosystem of how certain ideas work out and certain ideas should be adjusted. Or that interaction obviously is, of course, very interesting to have the academic side, the scientific side, but also the business side really exchanging in an active, open, continuous dialogue. I think, to me, and please prove me wrong if that's not going to happen or if it hasn't happened, but I think many innovations in our global marketplace, not just in our sector, has really found its way through these kind of mechanisms. But I want to open up the floor. Maybe David, you may have something to say because you're a good example in bringing innovation to a more mainstream thinking.
Yeah, I actually think Rio did a nice job of articulating some of the benefits. I think that value proposition for potential partners is exceptionally important in the current environment, as you spelled out, Thomas. And for AFA, Ag Future of America, some of the elements are the networking between the entities, whether that's in AFA's case, largely businesses, but also universities. And then the internship opportunities, the talent pool is certainly one that is leveraged. My comment would be that a lot of times the emphasis is in one part of the organization. So are you focusing on R&D or HR? And I'd encourage you to try to get broad interest and knowledge awareness around your initiative also through the business community because of those organizations, because those are the folks who may say, okay, we see a need in a few years. We've got an immediate need for interns. So it's that combination of short and long-term thinking sometimes by the business leaders. Not that the R&D groups don't have them, they do. They just often have more limited funds. So multiple lines cast if you're a fisherman, fisher person.
That's right.
It's multiple lines cast throughout the organization and clarity around the value proposition and adapting it to the current economics. I think having a few anchor companies can be a real help in times of economic downturn. AFA has really benefited from some anchor companies and seen some others go in and out, and then very active recruiting, right? I mean, both at the student level and at the company level, at the corporate level. And the students like your approaches, whether that's this innovation challenge is largely application based. It's not just you sign up and you go. There's got to be a little bit of a skin in the game, so that application process, and I think that's really important for the students to have that. So I think what you're doing is great. I look forward to staying connected, Rio, Tiffany, Will, with what you all are doing, because I think we're going to be facing some of the same challenges.
So I hear also that you say that maybe even in times of economic hardship or downscaling in certain companies, that actually multiple casting is going to be the name of the game. Huh? Because, if you have these tracks and you have these ideas and you pursue them, you all of a sudden have some wake up moment where you feel like, oh my God, we should have actually talked to those startups.
Breadth within the organization. Breadth within the organization is really key, because if your primary person is, Cindy Lou, and Cindy goes off and does something else, then suddenly you're struggling, right, to replace the relationship. So having multiple multiple senior folks, as well as throughout the pipeline, that organization experiencing what you're doing is really important.
Super cool. Any other questions, comments at this point from the audience? No? Everybody wants to sign up for this? Junior Baca, you just joined from Siemens. Let me see if you have a good audio. Junior?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I was just figuring out the unmute.
Good. Oh, so Junior, you're from Siemens USA as well, and your audio seems to work. Maybe just introduce yourself quickly because you come on later. And do you have any in your I mean, I know you've been looking around left and right as a very curious person working for a big tech firm, but do you think that student challenges has been something that you are talking to your boss about?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I apologize.
Yes, no problem. I mean, you've been you know, looking left and right in your situation, working for a big tech company, and trying to understand these you know, wild west of ideas in particularly in ag tech. Do you think that this student challenge proposal, is that something that you see that it's worthwhile talking to your boss about in your company, or what do you see?
Well, just to get started here, well, my name is Junior Baca, and I am the National Agricultural Business Developer for Siemens here in the U.S. So I not only focus on the traditional agricultural irrigation systems, animal feed, fertilizer, all that stuff, and biofuels, but I also focus on smart greenhouse tech, traditional farm tech like automated vehicles, farm equipment, and then smart greenhouses. But I mainly focus on the drive side of the business. I'm centrally located here in the U.S. in Iowa. Been here for about 14 years. Anyways, so I didn't really understand the conversation since I did get here a little bit late. What do you mean about student
challenge?
Getting them involved with more research and their tech, you know, to get them more involved into this field? Is that what you're asking about? Because as I go out there and I find a lot of these little tech companies, they're basically a bunch of you know, young individuals interested in making you know, the world a better place. They're interested in creating you know, autonomous vehicles and you know, basically lightening the load on the food industry and creating better quality food and more nutritious food for their local communities. So that's what normally I've been running into, but maybe I just didn't understand the total scope of your question.
No,
I didn't really hear the whole total conversation.
Yeah,
that you guys
I understand now. I understand. You missed the whole meeting is about the student challenge organized by Wageningen University. This year's it's a year-long project, and you know, they accept proposals from not just students, also individuals who have an idea. They can participate in the challenge, and then the challenge will be basically exposed through a partnership of, you know, industry stakeholders. And the idea is, of course, how can you benefit in this value chain from let's say company perspective? I mean, you know, there's many ways of going to look at innovation, and you know, technology companies continuously invest a lot of effort and time in trying to understand what ideas are out there and what could be useful. And so this was the question, is like, do you think that this is something you want to talk to your boss about? I mean, is that something you already do? Is that in your DNA? I mean, you're an account manager. Obviously, you need to look at sales before you do anything else. But you know, is there a conversation around this innovation? You know, I'd say, I mean, the world has exploded with startups, and you know, this has really triggered a lot of fast-paced transition and disruption in existing business models in many industries. And now we're just in a small CEA, you know, ag tech, you know, mini niche of disrupting agricultural food production, and innovation is really a big driver of it. So a lot of our network here is wondering, is this something that can benefit a small to medium size or a large tech company in some ways?
Yes, I see it most definitely. I mean, a lot of the engineers that I've been, you know, getting involved with, starting our conversations with, they're very used to working with their programs that they've trained in at the office at their school, right, in their classes. So Siemens does offer an educational program that is drastically reduced in price. And sometimes we offer demos to equipment to students, whether it be software licenses, PLCs, hardware, all that stuff. Even some of the time from our local application engineers if they have any questions. So we do see the benefit of going out and working with the educational system to get them used to working with our products. There is definitely a lot of innovation within Siemens that I am still identifying and learning about, like Purdue University and some other research and development groups that not only work in the agricultural side, like developing vision inspection systems and biomass detection software and AI, but we definitely hit on all the other ones, right? Aviation, automation, automotive, and all that stuff. So Siemens is very focused on the next generation of entrepreneurs and engineers, and so we're willing to invest in them. And it is a big benefit for us, just because as a tech company, I believe, and I've seen, because as I'm working with, again, these young minds out there, they gravitate towards what they learned on. So if we can get in up front and provide them the hardware and software and knowledge to work with our equipment, we definitely see the benefit once they've graduated or start to work on new technology.
That's interesting. I mean, Dennis, I mean, your Priva has had also their fair share of startup ideas. Do you think that this has been also a beneficial track for you guys, or are you looking at Wageningen Student Challenge at this point? Is that a debate also from your perspective?
It's not a debate for us. So what we more do is sit in consortiums, so with Wageningen University. We are part of the Sky High project.
Right.
So as far as I know, it's not a debate now at this moment for Priva. It's also has to do, if you look at our market, it's slowing down, of course, and of course you have to stimulate it. But everything costs money, so we have to be realistic.
Right. But Priva has had also a number of startups to come and work out of your headquarters, right? When you invited them, you financed them, and you did a lot of interesting development of innovation. I think partially the indoor. I mean, your department has had a trajectory of lots of this, and overall, I mean, would you qualify it? It was a good decision to do this for let's say R&D purpose and then transition into market product?
Yeah, we are always open to give advice or open up. We have an own vertical farm in the background at our office, so we are always opening up and put in the energy and help universities or students where possible. And I think at this time, for us, it's a little bit difficult in our market to help startups. Yes, we will help them to put energy in them and give them advice and to bring them to the next step. But not doing that with money, but with people and to help them and give them advice.
So you would also, similar to what Siemens does, to provide, for instance, your toys, so to speak, and then see what they can tease it out. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
How Tom, about you, if Carlo? I may,
yeah, go ahead.
Tom,
go ahead.
Yeah. So this is Eva. I don't think that we can afford to ignore any of the programs that come out of universities and initiatives around startups with very young people. They're, compared to the majority of the people on this call, they are very inexperienced in many different ways, but they have really great flexible brains, and they think in a totally different way than we do. because they haven't been shaped and they haven't been, they haven't suffered all the economic, ups and downs that we have and all of that. They're not as jaded, basically. So I think it's a beautiful initiative to at least making us aware that this is what's going on at the university in the Netherlands, and there's similar programs across the world. Sometimes bridging the gap between what's offered and the established companies is very difficult. And I think that that's what this conversation is trying to solve. Sometimes breaking it down and offering, we're at CEO for a day, where there's a list of things and bits and pieces where you can engage as a company, even if you can't, put money towards the specific startup ideas or whatever. But making what's available at the university to the companies and understanding that it's such a huge value for the companies to engage with them, that from our perspective would be very important, I think, because this is a great overview presentation, but like if I could go in and check like, okay, where can I be a mentor, or how can I support these students? What are the different options for me as an outsider? Because we have to remember many of them have never been out working or in the world that we have lived in for many, many years. So we're giving them that value, whereas they're giving us access to new ideas, new technologies, and a different way of thinking about stuff. So yeah, that's it.
And that's a very important point. I mean, the interaction with the next generation at a very engaged way. I mean, of course, you can always hire people, but to have a conversation before hire people in the form of actually student challenges is really amazing opportunity for both sides. As I feel it very strongly that this, particularly in our sector who is in transition, is very much needed. But I wanted to reach out to Vertical Future. I mean, the UK is, of course, now a little bit on their own planet, but Vertical Future, have you had any response here to this program, or what is Vertical Future doing? Are you also engaging with outside ideas coming to you in the form of like, academics producing them, or similar student challenges in the UK? Are you aware of that, or are you working with some of them?
Yes. Shall I start? I'm sure Grant can add to that. Apologize if you can hear something on the background. But yes, we do actually. We have a Innovate UK program that we collaborate, and it's a joint adventure with the university. In our particular case, we are with the University of Essex. And we have a student, actually it's a former student from Wageningen University, and she joins and she works part-time at the university and part-time with us, and we have had a great experience. We're looking for alternatives to keep the student. She's coming to the end of the project now, and we're looking for options to retain her as part of the company now. So yeah, we do engage.
You live it, huh? You live it fully, huh? This is great.
Yeah.
Nice. And is this the first time, or has it happened before? Is this been a trajectory? I mean, my engagement was always with Bram, with Jen, and so I'm not very familiar with what other people do. So
yes,
so to speak,
yeah. Well, Jen is on maternity leave, so that's one of the reasons why Grant and myself are here.
Yes.
We also had previously engaged with the University of Cambridge, so we have had a couple of students from the University of Cambridge in like 6-8 month project, and yeah, as Eva was mentioning before, I think they come with a very fresh way of looking at things and thinking out of the box in a different way. So I do believe it's quite positive. And I also think we were there at some point, maybe a few years ago, some of us. So it's also good to be part and contribute and back to what kind of part of their sort of professional development is at that stage.
Yeah, very much so what Ivo said too. I mean, you also provide an opportunity for interested new, young, unspoiled minds to kind of like be the CEO for one day or for a week. I love this.
Yeah, exactly. And we also engage with early startups. They want to sometimes test a few things. So yeah, that's a bit more. It requires a bit more of paperwork if you want, because they're more like IP sensitive information to a point. But yeah, it is possible, and we also have engaged with startups and with a positive experience as well.
Super cool. I see we're getting close to our 6 o'clock call, deadline or end of the day for us in Europe, beginning of days in California. I mean, I'm really grateful. I mean, this conversation is obviously not finished. I hope this is a kind of a push in the right direction. I'm always very keen to hear from you individually if you have anything you want to bring to the table. I mean, we are now, I want you to be all part of the group on LinkedIn, because I think this will allow us to also open it up to a wider audience, to also propose to, let's say, an audience which then actually would interact more with us, possibility in terms of really directly grow the ecosystem beyond just our network. And obviously, I'm planning these meetings ahead, and if anybody has a good idea to come to talk to me about including it, we can always plan something. As I said earlier in the call, we want to create an interactive ongoing platform on these topics on our website, which should happen this fall. And obviously Rio and Tiffany will be available to engage with anybody wanting to know more and really engage as a partner. I know FarmTech wants to be a partner, and we as an entity love to continue create the platform for all these ideas. The same also with World Horti Center and any of you. I mean, we're really like to be the meeting point for the ecosystem and facilitate conversations and dialogue and strategic work, which is obviously in the from a sales perspective very difficult to do if you are just running around trying to meet your targets. But even that could be helpful, to have these conversations and pick up ideas. So with having said that, is there any last question we should quickly tackle or table for next time? Or is there word of the day? It's a happy Wednesday here in Brussels. I hope it's going to be the rest for you. Also, any last question? No? Yes? Maybe? All good? Super. Thanks a lot, everybody. Wish you all a great rest of the week, and see you soon. And stay in touch. Be well.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Have a
everyone.
good day.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Next
Bye-bye.
time.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.